this week, The Onion was in a bit of a controversial situation because they tweeted, and of course it was a joke, that Quvenzhané Wallis was kind of a cunt. Now, excuse me for using the word, but we're going to use that word quite a bit in this story because I think that it makes it better to just say it. Now, an hour after they posted that, they took it down and they issued a very rare apology. And, I can understand why they did that. Of course, when it has to do with a 9-year-old and a word as, I guess, blunt and as negative as cunt, people are going to have a bad reaction to it. Now, as we were doing that story, there were a lot of questions that came up. Why is it that that word gets under people's skin? Why does it have such a negative connotation, right? And you know what the denotation is. It basically means female genitalia. And that's what it was originally used for, and nothing more than that. So I want to give you guys a little bit of a history on the word cunt. And, Slate did a good job at profiling this word, and they started by talking about the earliest instance of this word being used. So I'll tell you what that is. The earliest instance of the word recorded in the Oxford English Dictionary is actually from the name of a 13th century London street, Grope Cunt Lane. Isn't that unbelievable? There was a street called, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it was Grope Cunt Lane, really. All right, so that
Rent was very reasonable. Grope Cunt Lane.
So in the 13th century, that was a street name. Now, of course, afterwards, it was used for, medical purposes. In fact, one surgery manual circa 1400 said the following: in women, the neck of the bladder is short and is made fast to the cunt.
I really like this stuff. I've always been interested in the origin of not just words, but also expressions, like where, popular expressions come from. It's fun to learn that stuff.
Absolutely. So let me tell you a little more about this word. In the 13th and 14th centuries, also had the word in their names in a way that seems unlikely today. So some men and women at that time included names like Wide Cunt, Robert Cleve Cunt, and Ganoka Cuntles.
I like the second one. That's a sort of nickname that a warrior would have in the Game of Thrones, the Cleve Cunt.
Yeah, it's a pretty fascinating last name. But okay, so that's what happened. Now, by the time we hit 1796, all of a sudden people weren't so in favor of that word. It wasn't really used in last names, and it definitely wasn't used in some surgery manuals. So one example is Robert Burns. When Robert Burns printed the old Scottish folk song Yon 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 Lassie in 1796, the word appeared only as C-T. In his 1811 Dictionary of the Vulgar Tongue, Francis Gross defined cunt as a nasty name for a nasty thing, while elsewhere he bleeped it out entirely or referenced to it only as the monosyllable. So the monosyllable is really the important thing to focus on here, because a lot of linguists are trying to figure out, well, why is it that people hate this word so much? And they realize that it's the way that it sounds. These monosyllable words are often really, really harsh, and people don't like the way they sound. So think about monosyllable words like fuck, shit, piss, cock. Like, those are all words that are really difficult to listen to.
Keep it coming, come on.
Well, I'm trying to explain it to you guys.
Okay,
So of course, the word cunt falls under that category.
Yeah. And they also mention at the end of this that twat follows in that same category. I feel uncomfortable saying it or even hearing it. It's less offensive and more like, I honestly feel like giggling a little bit because it's a silly word. But it is interesting how we have so many words for one small thing, or typically small, but that they have such a wide variety of connotations. And it's interesting how those develop over time.